M-Dog Gaming.
Welcome, this is M-Dog playing some Hearthstone today, and we're going to do an arena run, and we're going to have fun, win or lose. And that's the attitude I have to have. I get really frustrated if I'm too focused on trying to win. So much of it is determined by not only your play skill, which certainly as I'm going through matches, both regular play matches and arena matches, I'm realizing there's lots of opportunities that better plays could be made, and certainly mistakes I'm seeing myself make. But also with arena, so much of it is based on the cards that you draw. So that can be very difficult to overcome. If you don't have a good draw, or if you think that your deck is going in a certain direction based on what you've chosen thus far, and then the cards that are offered later on don't fit well with that. So it can be really interesting. Our three choices for this run are Warlock, Druid, and Shaman. I've played Warlock very, very little, and I know a lot of people say that they don't enjoy playing Warlock because you're having to damage yourself, and I don't know if that, to draw cards and some of the other abilities, does things with damage. I'm not sure that that's necessarily the mechanic that I don't like, but I just haven't really warmed up to the Warlock. I like Druid alright, but I think we're going to try Shaman today. To me, Shaman looks like a high risk, high reward type of class, based on how your cards come out, and based on the Shaman mechanic of getting overloaded, having maybe a little bit stronger card come out this turn, but then having less mana available next turn. Hero power is summon a random totem, and these totems can be useful. One of them offers a little bit of healing, one of them increases your spell damage, one of them acts as a tank, and one of them I think pretty much just does 1/1 damage on its own, damage defense. So they can be helpful when you've got 2 mana and nothing else to do, or even early game. Sometimes a totem can make an impact. Certainly the totems that you get in your hand as actual minions or cards are much more powerful than the random ones that are summoned, but they work together as well. So now we are going to start drawing cards. Early picks and cards are very difficult, if for no other reason because you don't have a sense of what your deck is going to look like. I'm not a big fan of the Alarmobot. It can be a very powerful way to get a card out of your deck early if it can survive, but it also is easily killed with only 3 health, and then you've wasted 3 mana. I've seen people use it, well, but again, a little bit too random and too risky, for me at this point at least. Injured Blade Masters is okay, 3 mana, he ends up being a 4/3. That's okay. Argent Commander, 4/3, his stats aren't that good, but he does have charge and a Divine Shield, so he can be nice, but this early I hate to pick up that heavy of a cost of card. We're going to have to go with the Injured Blade Master, I think. Totemic Might gives all your totems +2 health. According how it goes, that can be really good. Archmage is okay, especially with spell damage. This is a decent taunt card for 4 mana, 5 health, and it has a little bit of attack with the 3. It's not a bad card, but I think we're going to go with Totemic Might, just in case we end up getting some cards that will work well with that. Not crazy about any of these cards. We don't have a 1 or a 2 yet. This Argent Squire is okay. She's got Divine Shield, but she only does 1 damage and only has 1 health. This Murloc is alright as well. I mean, you put him down and he's got 2 attack immediately with the charge. But just to help with board control, I think we're going to go with another 3 here and get the Harvest Golem. his death rattle ability, which means when he dies he's going to bring up another golem, and this one's damaged, so it's only a 2/1. But It's an okay card. And we have an inexpensive taunt. And he's not going to last more than one turn in most situations, but he does distract damage from elsewhere. I'm not crazy about the Cult Master unless you get a lot of minions out, and then the ability to draw a card comes into play. I don't really like this card that much either, although if you can put him down at a time where you can force damage upon him, he can become a 5 and then however much health you have left for 5 mana, which is okay. This is actually a tougher choice than I want it to be. A 2 taunt might be worthwhile here. I think we'll go with that. There's only there's a couple of weapons for the Shaman, but not enough to get a card like this based on a weapon. You only want Ancient Brewmaster. I mean, it's an okay card. A 4, and it's going to have a 5/4, which you see it's 4 mana cost. This 3 mana ends up being a 4, let's say a 4/4, 4/5, based on what kind of damage you force him to take. So this is a decent card at 4 mana, but the main thing is the battle cry. It returns a friendly minion from the battlefield to your hand. Now right now, we don't necessarily have anything that takes advantage of. We could get our first 6. It only does 5 damage, and it hardly has any health, so it's not going to last. But it does have charge. Again, not crazy about the cards we've gotten so far, and the choices have been difficult for some reason. I think there's going to be a better heavy hitter later, so we'll just go with the Ancient Brewmaster. Alright, so we have a couple of 2s here. This is a good card, just the fact that it lets you draw a card. I mean, you put down a 2/1. If they kill it immediately, well, you draw another card. Sometimes in certain situations you might get one hit off with it. Stormforged Axe is okay. For 2 mana, you're getting 3 turns of 2 attack, but you're also losing a mana for the next turn while it's up. I think I'm actually going to go with Windspeaker here. Let's do some comparative shopping. So this 4 is a 5/4, and this 4 is a 3/3. So the Ancient Brewmaster has much better stats. The one good thing though is it gives a friendly minion Wind Fury. If you can attach that to a decent minion, it's worth having, and I don't know that this Stormforged Axe is worth the overload cost unless we get the minion in this deck that gets stronger with overload, but we can't count on that, so we're going to go with Windspeaker for now. Another Axe and another Gurubashi Berserker and another minion that's based, its benefit is based on the attack of your weapon. So it's really, for me, between these 2. I'd rather have another 2. I think I will go with the Axe this time. This is a pretty good ability, 2 to 3 damage to all enemy minions. It does have overload times 2. I don't like Master Swordsman, and I certainly don't want Secret Keeper in this deck. Well, I should say that Master Swordsman can be okay in some decks. I mean, he's going to give +1 attack to a random enemy if he survives. He does have 3 health, so sometimes you can keep him out there a little bit, but we're going to go with Lightning Storm. We could use a 1. It has stealth, so you're at least going to get 1 hit on it unless they have a spell or an ability to impact your minion when it's in stealth. So for 1, 2 damage, that's not bad. This Scarlet Crusader is okay because she has a Divine Shield, but against a lot of opponents, especially if there aren't many minions on the board, taking off the Divine Shield and then doing 1 damage is not very difficult. So I think we will get a 1 card here. I really like the Defender of Argus. So far we have no taunts other than the 2 Frostwolf Grunt. So this Defender of Argus, 3/3 for a 4, that's about the same as Windspeaker, not as good as Ancient Brewmaster, but the big thing is if you can throw that in between 2 minions, you're going to have 2 minions that get buffed and get taunt. So at the right time, and this card is not so situational that it's, you know, a bad option for Arena. There's a lot of good situations to throw that one down. Secret Keeper, we're not going to have any secrets in the Shaman deck most likely. I don't even know if there are any for Shamans. And Abomination, I just don't like this. I don't like cards that is so difficult to control when he's going to die, because he does damage to all characters. That includes you and your minions and the enemy's minions and the enemy himself. So we'll definitely go with another 4 here and get Defender of Argus. Frost Shock is good. It can slow an enemy down, obviously. I don't like these cards with 1 health. Too easy to pick off. He doesn't have charge, and we most likely are not going to have abilities to give a minion charge. It would be amazing if we put him down behind a taunt and then gave him Wind Fury, and we actually got a couple attacks off for him for 3 mana. 5 attack is pretty good, but this is a good 6. You know, we don't have a 6 yet, but I think Frost Shock, for 1 mana, you do only 1 damage, but you're going to freeze it. So in some situations, you know, you may use it to kill an enemy, but more likely you're going to use it to just disable it for a turn. So we'll go with Frost Shock. I really don't like this card. If you look at 2 mana, you're giving another minion Wind Fury, but for 2 more mana, we could pick up another Windspeaker, have a 3/3 minion down, as well as giving someone Wind Fury. Now this taunt is the Shield Master is one of the better taunts. I like the mana cost, not too high. It has enough health to withstand usually a turn or 2, and it does decent attack, so that things that attack it are gonna at least take a little hit points off. But I think we're gonna have to go with a second Windspeaker, and maybe another taunt will present itself down the road. Here's another taunt now, but with 2 Shaman abilities here, it's unlikely. Now this one is interesting. Restore a minion to full health and give it taunt. So let's say we had our injured Blade Master out. He's considered a injured minion. His full health is technically 7. He can be healed back up to 7, I do believe. So you could throw that on him. He's now has 7 health and would have taunt for a total of 3 mana, 2 cards, but 3 mana is pretty good. Or we can give a friendly character plus 3 attack. I think we're going to go with the Rockbiter weapon, because we're talking about this being very situational with that 1 card. This Rockbiter weapon, if played, you know, in any numerous occasions, can clear a minion that's going to cause us trouble the next turn, or just do some good damage in the face of the enemy. We're passing on a lot of taunts. Okay, the Dust Devil, if we could get it out turn 1, it's a great option. If they're not able to destroy it with something they have turn 1, then you're going to have 2. So let's go ahead and get started. Find our first opponent and see how this deck performs. I believe in all the arenas I've played, I may have only played Shaman 1 other time. If that, I'm not even sure that I've actually done an arena with the Shaman, but I want to say that maybe I have once. This will be interesting, because these were the 2 we were choosing between.
For Doomhammer.
So the question is, I don't really want both of these spells out early. I don't mind the 1 and the 3 minion. They both will sort of serve the same purpose. I think we're gonna go this way. What would be great is to get a 4 or a 2. Okay, that's good. Now we've got a 1, 2, 3, and the coin. So our first few turns are sort of planned out for us. And what we may do against a druid is go ahead and get this beast out here and see what that draws out. We don't need to do that though, because we can get this worgen out and have him respond to that. Making careful choices in the early game is so important, and often where I trip myself up, I find.
I hope you like my invention.
So we probably will go ahead and play. See, we could get Harvest Golem out, but I think having the extra attack would be best here. Go ahead and play this and go ahead and hit him there.
I wonder.
If we put the 3 attack on this, we'd hit him for 5, but that is a guarantee that he will destroy this minion next turn, so we'll leave it alone. The other option, of course, would be to go ahead and get a totem out and hope that it's one that has taunt on it, but I think we're gonna do this.
First kill.
So instead, we could hit him and kill him, but we're gonna sort of force him to trade if he wants to. We're also gonna see now, thinking through the druid's abilities, he may have something for 3 mana that could remove the raptor, and then he could take out, I mean, he's got some choices for sure. So he did 1 damage and drew a card. Now he probably has a way to get rid of this. Yeah, he can attack it with both, or he can attack me directly. Interesting that he's going to use his turn to basically just clear the board. So we're at turn 3 here. We can go ahead and get the Harvest Golem out. We don't want to do this early because there's nothing to put the Wind Fury on. So I think the only good play is just to go ahead and... Now we could summon it. Now we'll go ahead and put this out. I often see Shamans early game summoning totems a lot, and so I may be missing something by not doing that. Let's see what next turn looks like though. We're gonna have 4 mana. I don't really, there's not really a 2 that we have that would make sense to do that with. I guess we could give this +3 attack. Okay. Alright, now that motivates us to want to get this out so that next turn will be 5. We could actually get this out next turn. Oh, so many choices.
What to do?
So if we put this here, he's going to have 2 attacks. But it'd be nice to save it. Alright, this is probably where we ought to go. Totem. And this turn only. Let's just go ahead and do that so we're not wasting as much mana. So now he's in a position where he can go ahead and clear my minion, and that will give us a 2/1 golem. If he clears it with the croc, it would destroy the... No, it wouldn't. I'm sorry. They would both have 1 health left. Now he's got a taunt. So we're going to be at 5 mana. We're going to be at 5 mana with this, so we could actually take this out, do 3 damage to the taunt. I like that. Now he could take this out by using his hero ability. He will take 2 damage if he does it though. Okay, he's not. Alright, I like this play, I think. Oh, we could get the boulder out too, but nah. Alright, we're going to use our mana crystal. We're going to deal 3 damage. We're going to take his croc out with our totem. And go ahead and attack him directly with our golem. I think that was a decent play here. Now we can go next turn Ancestral Spirit on the fire elemental, potentially do that with the Defender of Argus if these two are both still alive somehow. If not, we may go Ancestral Spirit on this and then also give it Wind Fury and really try to take advantage of this moment. Now we need to figure out a way to get this Cobra off the board. He's going to take this off the board. Okay. So now we need to rethink this. We need something to do damage to that Cobra. +1. Okay, so if we give this +1, it'll do 3 damage, which would take out the Cobra. That's what we've got to do. So we'll do... Now the question is, do we want to go and do Ancestral Spirit on this, or would we rather get the Bloodfin Raptor out? Because that's going to be gone, and then we're going to go directly that. I think that's what we'll do. Alright, so first of all, let's do this.
My shield for Argus!
And then let's go ahead and take out this, because we do not want him getting an easy kill. And now the question is, directly to the face is 7 damage. And then he can't kill that with that, so it depends on what card he had. Let's go ahead and do an Ancestral Spirit with this. We also could have gotten a minion out, but I think this is the better play. Now, if this is still alive, or if it is killed but then brought back, now is probably when we're gonna want to get Wind Fury on it, get 2 attacks, and that would put him down to 2 life if this is still alive. And that would actually end the game, because unless he spells this Defender of Argus,
I must safeguard the land.
why did he silence that instead of
A
this?
natural mistake.
That was a mistake.
Sorry that happened.
If he silenced this, it wouldn't have come back when he killed it. I think he feels like now he has to attack it to clear his minion, but I mean, it did clear his minion. Okay, let's see what he can do here. 3 mana. Alright. We could just take that out to not play with it, but... Alright, we're going to go ahead and do this. We're kind of going in for the kill here. We're going to give this Wind Fury. Let's see what this does. I believe this is GG.
Well played. Well played.
Our cards really came out in a desirable order there. We not only had good starter cards, but we drew cards that worked perfectly with what we had on the board. Forced him to be playing defensively from the start. So I took a quick break here between matches, but I was thinking about that play that the last opponent made, silencing the Defender of Argus. And if, let's see if we can find him real quick. If that ability had been a constant ability, where in this case the Defender of Argus has a battle cry, so it gives adjacent minions +1 and taunt, and that happens when the card is played from your hand. If that had been a card, and I don't know if we have an example of this, one that's not a battle cry but that's constant. for instance, this one, for example. This ability does not happen when you play it. It happens ongoing when that criteria is met. So he probably was just playing quick, and I've made those kind of mistakes before, but just was thinking without thinking that the Defender of Argus was what was making it still have the taunt and the 1/1. However, if he had thrown the silence on, instead of putting on the Defender of Argus, he should have obviously put it on the Fire Elemental. That would have silenced the Fire Elemental, so it no longer would have any of its buffs, so it would have lost an attack and a defense, and it would have lost its taunt. So that's what he was trying to do. An understandable mistake. Sometimes we just get playing fast and those things happen. Let's see how this second match will treat us. I'm glad we didn't have to go against the Grand Master there. That's a good thing.
Versus Uther. I will fight with honor.
For Doomhammer.
So we're just gonna get. I don't mind having a weapon this early. The only thing I don't like is the overload effect. But in some situations, having that early available can be good. I like the 1 and the 4 here as we look for future turns. We're just gonna replace one of our wind speakers and see if we can get a 3 or another low card. So a Frost Shock can be good early as well. It does not have overload on it, which is good. Going second can be nice, getting that the mana boost later on. We're going to do the same thing as we did last time and go ahead and throw out this stealth. Now a Paladin with 2 mana, let's think. I do know the Paladin abilities and it pretty well. I don't think he'll be able to just clear that. So we will see what he has in his hand. He can either put out one of his Silverhand recruits, which is what he'll do. So we'll obviously want to attack him and let him trade if he wants to. Now we have 2 here. We can go ahead and put this axe out, but that means on our 3rd turn we're only going to have 2 mana, which we would have to use the card to even play a 3, which we don't have. Or we could play the Frost Shock, but I think instead of doing that, we're going to go ahead and go Totem here and see what we get. And this is the one that's going to restore health. This does not help us because there's no way this can be damaged and maintained and still be on the playing field. So we'll go ahead and attack here and call it a turn. Now this means on our next turn we can get this Dark Iron Dwarf up, but we would no longer want to do that because we're not going to have any minion to buff. So this becomes an interesting turn. There we go. We needed a 3 just to get something out here. He's going to be able to do a total of 3 damage, so he could take out either the Razorfin Hunter, or he could ignore the Hunter and take out the Boar and with his minion and hit us directly. Or of course he could use a spell and do neither of those. We could take out his minion with that and get our Stormforge Axe and then take out the other minion. But I think we would rather keep some board presence here and see what he does with that. Now if he were to attack this once, which would be silly, I don't see him doing that, but this would heal it at the end of our next turn. Any damage done to our minions. So if we can keep that totem out where it will come into play, okay, now he's going to be able to trade with us. It's basically taking a 2. Oh no, his was a 3 as well. So he's just trading with us so that he keeps both of these up. That was a good play. We may need to go ahead and do this, and then we could finish it off if that doesn't finish. I think we're going to go ahead and do this because he's got 6 attack and we're not going to be able to do anything about it. And that one only took 2 damage, unfortunately. So with 1 mana left, we probably will go ahead and use this. The other option would be to go ahead and get our Stormforge Axe And that would take that out. We would take the 3 damage, but then we'd have a weapon for next turn, and we would have...
What to do?
On turn 5, we would have 4 mana, which is probably okay, although all these have... That's the thing, is all these have buffs. We're just going to miss out on it. I think we will go... No, I think we'll go ahead and get this out.
Elements guide me.
I don't know if that was the right play or not. The thing I like to do is keep the Frost Shock at this point, since we've kept it this long. Keep it to save us from taking big damage from a minion. Alright, that is I really like this too. And then he's also going to be able to Divine Shield it. So that's a good play on his part. We have 3 Overload. What is that from? Oh, that's right. I forgot about the Overload on that. So we're at 2 mana. We're going to summon a totem.
What to do?
I guess we could do Frost Shock, take that off, and then take that out. Ugh.
That's not a valid target.
Why can that not be targeted? Oh, of course, because it's a fairy dragon. There we go. That'll buy us a little bit of time.
Elements guide me.
And we gotta do this. Unfortunately, when he attacks this, it will not take off his Divine Shield because it doesn't do any damage.
Don't mess with Tusker.
He is getting some really good board control here.
Reporting for duty.
So, which one of these do we want to... Oh, this is what we want to play. We can put this down and give this 2 mana, or 2 attack. And then we also, before that, we can play a totem. And, yeah, that's what we want to do. Let's see what totem comes up. If it's a snake, we'll give it attack. Okay, so let's think here. We're going to have... Do we want to take out a... something this turn? Not necessarily, but that's how we're gonna do it. Alright, so if we take out one of his 1s, it will do damage to it. We don't want to go right at him at this point. We've got to start getting control of this. Or
There's little time.
we could do 2 and take that out, but that would kill it. I think we'll just go like this.
Elements guide me.
We're not in a position of strength yet, as it's his turn with 7 mana. This could be scary, according to what cards he has in his hand. He still has a Divine Shield on that, and it does 3 damage each hit. Now he's got a weapon that actually heals him. He's going to probably take our Dark Iron Dwarf out. The only thing we might have been able to do differently in the last match is there were a couple occasions where perhaps if we had traded some, taken some of his minions out of the, taken them off the table, that might have been better if he was spell heavy instead of having more minions in his hand. That could have made a difference, but alas, we can always try again. And I still don't have a really good sense of how strong our deck is. In the first match, I think it just came out in a really strong way. Now we go against the Druid again. In the first match, it just came out, it seemed to really flow well, the card order.
Doomhammer.
We're going to try to get rid of this and see if we can get a couple of cards. We're going first. Okay, it'll be interesting. Let's see what we draw. We'll definitely... Okay, we'll definitely put this out. If he wants to use his mana card, he could... Well, no, he couldn't because it's in stealth. Unless we draw something, our only option is going to be... our only option is going to be to go totem on this turn. Well, we did draw the axe, but that would mean not getting that out on turn 3, although I don't know that we want that out on turn 3 unless we're going to trade. So, let's see, again, we could give this +3, that'd be 5 damage, but then it'll get killed very quickly, so we're going to go ahead and go axe.
First kill.
And now the question is,
Elements guide me.
what do we do here? I think we do this. And I may be being too sensitive to how the last match went with how quickly he was able to gain board control, but I really don't want to put us in a position where he's going to bring out a big minion, I would assume. No? Okay, so he's going to take this out with his special ability. No? What spell or what? Okay. Interesting. Leaves that wide open to us just taking it out. Part of the advantage of the Knife Juggler is, in my experience, obviously with its ability, trying to put it out there where it's not going to be the main target for a turn or two. And then as you summon minions around it, you do that damage to random enemies, which is really nice. Alright, well, we only have 2 here, so there's nothing to play this on. We don't have a mana token because we went first. So our only thing here is to play the totem. And this one is going to be useless unless we draw something with spell damage, and then go ahead and take this out. We will probably, even though we have 4 mana, we don't want to play that. That would be interesting. Give this +3 and then hit that and then take it out with that.
What to do?
But I think we're going to end up playing this.
Don't mess with Tusker.
Then we can still make the decision on, do we want to take this taunt card out? It would waste this card. It would only be for this turn that it would have it, and then it would allow our last weapon to take it out. I think we're going to do it. I think we are.
Elements guide me.
Because of this only doing 1 damage, our totem is still going to be alive next turn. So it really was just, I think it was too good of an opportunity not to do that. Now we're in a position where
Summoning portal open.
we don't want that to be around next turn because it will give him basically +1 mana towards a minion. What's he going to take out? Interesting. So we have 5 mana. We need to draw something. There we go. This and this. I think this is what the play is going to be. And we may go ahead and play that as well. The other option would be get another totem up so that another totem has +2 health. But we're going to have to take this out.
I wonder.
I'm just not willing to let this little guy stay up. It gives him too easy of an opportunity next turn. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that.
Swine.
Now here is the question. You know, there's nothing on the board. I think we will do this. So the thing about giving your totems +2 health,
Job's done.
I am not real confident on the times to play that card. I think this is a good time because of this being out. It's more likely that that card will last a turn or two. So please don't. Oh my gosh. That could not have gone any worse. I would have rather it had taken out this fella instead of my mana card. Okay. Well, we have 6. I think this is where we're going to bring this guy out. If it survives, to be able to give it either Ancestral Spirit or Wind Fury or both next turn is too much to pass up, I believe. Now this guy will get healed up to its full health again. So we're still in a pretty good place. He does have a decent card out here in terms of its defense. If he has a way to give it taunt, then it becomes a much more interesting situation. Is he doing 1 or 3 damage? Okay.
You must cleanse the sun.
So now he can take this card out. That's a good play. He sacrifices his own card, but that was a strong play. So our choices now are... We obviously could go ahead and get this out. We don't want to use that on anything necessarily. We could go ahead and do that to that. That would only be 3. And then this. Okay, let's go ahead and draw this out. We have everything but taunt here. It's still gonna do 3 damage. Still gonna do 3 damage. So do we want to just hit him, or do we want to take his minion out? If we're gonna do this, he has more health than us, but we have so many.
Steel swine.
We're even on cards now. I think we're gonna go past it. I think we're gonna just go past it because worst case scenario, he takes out our raptor, but then we've still got this that we're hitting with, or he can take this out, but that would be silly because the raptor does 3. Okay, he's gonna go after us here. We can do 3 damage to this and then take it out. I like that. Now this is back down to 3 with 2 health. We can go ahead and put Ancestral Spirit onto this, or we can summon a totem, which hopefully would be the taunt totem.
Nature will rise against you.
I think we'll do that.
Greetings, friend.
And now the question is, take this out or not? I think we do. I think this time we take it out.
Swine.
And now we're in a position where even if he kills it and it comes back, we can now give it Wind Fury and get 12 attack out of it. 6 towards him and 6 towards a minion. That was a good play. We could do it again. We could stinking do it again.
Feel the power of the winds.
Why not, right? Can we get a taunt totem, please? Thank you.
Nature will rise against you. I thank you.
Now he's in a position where
I
he
hope you like my
must
invention.
take this out and go ahead and take this out.
Summoning portal open.
She's not going to be able to.
I concede.
And that was gonna be game over either way. But that went really well. I mean, again, the deck that we've drawn here with the Shaman, it feels... If you're paying attention at home, the other thing to consider with this deck is that we are 2-0 against the Druid and 0-1 against anyone else being the Paladin in this case. It is possible that it's a combination of cards coming out in a better order and our 2 victories, and also being a good matchup against some of the Druid's particular abilities. The Paladin we played just wiped the table with it, so let's see who we're playing this time and test that theory out a little bit.
Troll versus Valera.
Watch your back.
So typically a rogue's got a pretty aggressive deck. You know what? 1, 2, 4, 5. This Bloodlust, how many minions are we going to have up by turn 5? I don't know. We'll keep it. We'll just keep it. Sometimes you send something back and then you want it back. So we will keep it. Going twice means that if we have any minions alive on turn 3, we can have Wind Fury. Ooh! Now that's an interesting play. We could technically get crazy here and put the Dust Devil out. Although I believe that means no... You know what? This Worgen has done us well turn 1. Overload 2 means that round 2 we would have 0 mana. Seems a bit risky. So there's the rogue ability, summons your weapon with 2 durability, does 1 damage. So we can go, again, Totem, or we can get the Raptor out there. We don't really have anything currently for turn 3. I'm kind of wanting to stay away from this Dust Devil unless we get in a place where we have to do it. So I think what we're going to do is... Ooh, this is a tough decision. Because we're playing a rogue, we're going to go ahead and get both of these out here. Now he can take out the Worgen with his weapon and then lay something else down is probably what he will do, but if he does do that, he then takes another 2 damage from the Worgen, so that 1 mana would have done 4 damage. Here we are on turn 3 with nothing to play. Ooh, that is nice. If we can make it to round 5, get that thing out with our mana coin. So this is probably a totem round. Whenever a minion dies, gain 1 attack. I really just don't want to leave that 3 on the board. I'm just not willing to. I don't want to let something get out of control. So that puts us in a position of saying, now we could have gone coin, Wind Fury, attacked him once, and then taken out the minion. I think we're going to take a little bit of a safe route here and go Totem. Let's see, turn 4 we would only have 2 mana, or 3 if we use that, and there's just nothing to play. We do have Taunt, so we're going to keep our cards in our hand. A rogue usually plays fast and ends up doing a lot of damage to you, the player, not just your minion. So we'll see how that plays out for us. Now, we can get this out, but there's no reason to give that Wind Fury, so that's not a good play. We could do this and give this +3 attack and take out his Taunt, but that is a silly play. Again, I think this play is to put this out here. And now the choice is, on round 5, do we want to have a Fire Elemental? Or this round, do we want to have a Dust Devil and then have only 3 mana next round? Not really. Or do we want to give this Wind Fury? No, not really. He'll just destroy it. So that's all we're going to do. The nice thing about this, according to what he plays, we know that the fire elemental at the very least can take out the taunt just upon arrival. And if this is still alive, which it may not be, he may just take it out. What would be nice is to have a way to take out that. So he's going to try to slowly work on this. Kind of a little bit of a waste there. But it's fine because his next turn he'll be able to take it out and would free that up. Alright, so I guess we're going to just use the 3 damage on this because we don't want to take that 3. We don't want to take that 3 next time.
Thank you. Greetings, friend.
So the one nice thing is we have an Ancestral Spirit sitting here. We also have this, which would give it Wind Fury, and we'll have 6 mana. On the other hand, he's got a card full of hands. He may have a way to take care of this. There's a taunt protecting it, but he can take his taunt out very easily.
So many options.
Are you ready for this?
So now he's got spell damage. Interesting decisions here. I think we've got to do this.
Feel the power of the winds.
So now the question is, with 2 left, do we want to give it
Well played.
Ancestral Spirit? I think we do, because that keeps that on the playing field. And the other option would be to put a taunt out there, but then we lose this next turn. We're going to do that. And see how the rogue reacts to our little wombo combo. The downside of this Archmage, it does give him +1 spell damage, which I'm not sure how that interacts with the rogue spells. It could be good, I don't know. But the downside is he can't... Okay, so that works. He still has 4 mana. He can now take this out for the first time, which takes away the Wind Fury. He doesn't know we have another Wind Fury, but he at least can take this out one time. This still has 1 health. I mean, only has 1 health, so we're actually able to then take that out with our card, which is a pretty good swap for us at this point. But let's see what he does with his remaining 4 mana. With our 7 mana, we're probably looking at a Wind Speaker and Taunt combo, unless we draw something better. And then we also have this sitting here, which would mean on round 8 we'd only have 6 mana, but based on what we have right now, that might not be a problem. The other option we could do is a combination of +3 attack
Put this apple
and
on your head.
taunt.
Choose soon.
Now he gives... That's a good play. He should probably take this out now. Well, he didn't. That was unlucky. Oh, and this. I love that card as well. Alright, so this needs Wind Fury, because we can attack twice, and then that will be game over.
Feel the power of the winds.
Well
So, against the Rogue, that was a pretty straightforward victory, and I think the Rogue's strength just doesn't work well against this kind of deck that we built, at least not the way his cards came out that way. But this Shaman deck that we have is really able to go toe-to-toe with the Rogue's damage output. And if the Rogue were to focus too much on trying to deal damage towards us early game, our minion buildup was just was going to be a little too much. So 3-1, and this is where we probably start to hit some opponents that have really good deck composition, and also are just really good at playing the game. So things will probably start to get interesting quick.
Versus Jaina!
Just like we had a hard time with the paladin, it'll be interesting with the mage, and now this is not near as good of a draw here. We don't want to 6 this early. I'm actually going to send all 3 back to increase our odds of getting some of the cards that have played so well for us early game. Such a weird thing. We've got 2 ancestral spirits sitting there.
Ready for action!
And the mage is going to put an early taunt out that can slowly deal damage. We don't want to waste a frost shock on this card. We could go 2 and get this, or probably not do that and just wait till next turn, and if we need to, get the Tauren Warrior out there. So let's say hello and hope for the best.
Hello.
If the mage has minions in her deck right now, low mana cost minions, and is able to start building up things, then we may be in a little bit of trouble. I love this card, but there's no sort of use for it this early. We're going to go either Totem here or go ahead and get the Warrior out. The Warrior, if the mage isn't able to play anything, the Warrior's not going to be able to take this out combination with the Fire Blast. So it's probably a good time to get this out. We've got Taunt now, so we can stymie the damage being done to Thrall, our hero. And Jaina could still do 1 damage with her ability.
1 shot, 1 kill.
She still has 2 mana to take it out. So good play. Used 3 mana and 1 minion to take out our 3 mana card, so fairly even swap there. Now if we want to clear the board of that, we can. We also can go ahead and do this. But if we're gonna do that, we probably do want to clear the board so that we don't give her the opportunity to use Fire Blast on one and then take out the other with that. So we'll go ahead and take her out and then see what she has with 4 mana, and we hope that at least one of these can survive. So this puts her in a decision. If she wants to use her special ability, that's half of her mana to take one of these out. Or if she has a bigger card that she wants to play, looks like she doesn't, and she may just be clearing the board here. She may use a spell. Okay, she's just gonna wait there. So that means there's something for 5 mana that she's really wanting to play. She's got big cards in her hand, so that could spell trouble for us. We don't want to play this right now if possible, so we'll go Totem. Let's get the Taunt Totem. Yes! And then we'll go Raptor. Our Murloc will do the first damage of the game towards the mage. Now 5 mana, we're getting to the point where she has those abilities. She could start just wiping the board clean. At 5, with the cards that we have right now,
Master of magics.
okay, we would really like to get this mage off the board, even if we have to give up our Raptor, because spell damage +1 will add up. So we could go, that would give this 6, and then it would only have 1 life left. We do have the taunt up. That would leave 4, where technically we could put it back in our hand if we wanted to. Let's see. I just don't, as nice as it would be to hit the mage for 6 damage, I don't want to give her the chance to start building up spell power. So we can go Mana Tide Totem, and it has enough health that it'll survive, but she can take that out. I think what we'll do, because this is just a 2 mana card cost and it's an easy target right now, I think what we're going to do is just take this back into our hand and sit out here with these 2 cards. Now on turn 6, if we don't get a good card, we can always put one of these two and a totem, or both of these two. So there's another spell damage, as you can kind of see. And now this is overload 2, but if we did 3 damage or even 2 damage, that would kill it, and again we're getting that spell damage off. And if we do that, that's going to give us 4 mana. Sorry, on round 7 that would give us 5 mana, which is probably plenty. So we're going to do that. We're just trying to keep. Now we could go Ancestral Spirit. We have 3 left, so we can put one thing out. Probably this. We could return it though, instead of putting this out. I don't think we will.
Another round?
Let's see, because we're sacrificing a 4-cost card to a 6. We draw a card, so at the very least we'll get 1 card out of this. Let's see what she has for 7. I just sense that she's probably still got big cards in her hand, so we could see some.
Your magic.
Bye bye, Nods.